Yeah. So how was the last week? It was
Yeah, that the concept is clear,
okay.
and just I stuck some. I just share you now the screenshots.
Okay.
Actually,
Can
the fine
yeah, yeah.
in the delivery,
Uh-huh.
just I get this message only.
Hmm.
This.
Can we just start it out and go ahead further?
Yeah, yeah.
Please share me the screen.
Actually, I'm outside, so I just use my mobile.
Mobile, huh? Okay.
Uh-huh. I'll give you just to log in.
Ah,
I'll give you the material
material.
code. Yeah,
Okay. Let me log in. Huh?
yeah, yeah.
Great.
Yes.
I'm sharing my screen. Through mobile, you can visible, right? That
Yeah,
desktop.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
No issue. And one more thing here, Iqbal, this is kind of test or what is that? Practicing mode, right?
Yeah.
Someone doing something configuration, and that will impact here also. And it is integrated for all the models, right? At
Mm-hmm.
May FICO, the
Mm-hmm.
configuration related FICO should be even MM. They are used some of material type in the industry. So those all are causes the issue. So
Mm-hmm.
you need to identify and if possible you have to sort it out. Day before in the last week we faced that number range issue. Correct.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
likewise, so maybe this week you can, if hosting relevant data is there, version related issue may you face because
Mm-hmm.
this is the month start now. Actually, the fiscal year,
No, but
April is
yeah,
the first month.
but I believe I missed somewhere. I missed.
Right. Some configuration relevant.
I think where this to making sales order or this
Okay.
maybe
Okay.
some
Let
issue.
us check. Tell me material. FG
4035
403549.
49.
My screen is visible.
Yeah, yeah.
This is strategy 40,
Mm-hmm.
and you have a stock of 150.
Yeah.
Okay. Now thing is these are all the requirements elements are planned orders available.
This,
There is a order.
this is the sales order
Okay. Correct.
12930.
Customer order. Correct.
Mm.
So you can double click, go to change mode, enter the sold to party.
Yeah, this is the issue coming
Okay.
because
This,
you told me just use 1,000,
uh,
but I use thousands and then the message is coming. The WB is not created. This
uh,
message is coming.
you shared actually. Standard order. It is stored to party is still not added.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me take it. Very plan. We have anyway we have a stock, right?
Mm.
So hit enter. So go to edit in incomplete log. Some other thing is missing. Redetermined route. So terms payment the pricing. Select this. Complete data. Terms payment. We are doing testing. Take one. We are going to 465. This is the SD relevant. MWSP. Let's try.
Might be this not FG
Condition
material
type. Material is
issue, huh?
sure. CR00. Let's try. This will causing issue. Manage condition. The condition type. Condition type. Did you copy it or have you created this?
Master check. Master data is okay, no?
It's fine. Material pricing error is there.
Mm-hmm.
Mandatory condition. Thermal negative. And the results are remaining to be fixed. Yeah, it is getting there now. To change the material and try.
Okay.
Let us create a mine on material and try. If
Okay.
any sales order issue, yes, material you tried, try. After that, now work scheduling. So default we kept like counting towards default I think is going to say 1,000, 1,005. Yeah, correlation. So, we got created a material. So now let us check any requirement is there. You know, let us get the sales order for this. Go to the A01 and 1,000. So 1,000, 1,000. This is my material. Okay. Okay, and the waste is missing.
It's mean there is issue, na?
This also, yeah, the new pricing condition we have selected for material type. We check in offline. Just
Okay.
check what
Okay.
type is.
Because I try lots, but every time when I
Many
put the
material is coming.
yeah when I put
Maybe Uh,
Sold
you,
party 1,000. Then
uh,
one another message is coming.
okay.
Uh, WB is not created with this company or like that message coming. Then I check in the IMG.
Okay.
They are given the path to check this one, sales and distribution, I think. Then I go
SD,
there.
SD relevant.
Uh,
These are actually just take from the external memory. Last one. Double take one, and then okay. Then we create target order. The new material. Someone assigned condition type this one MWST, but MWST not configured properly. Okay. Fourth level of the condition determination is overall trait shown on the left hand. Which are present here out from the strategy, output strategy condition and other two. The requirement was assigned for this axis. Usually this should be PR00 for configuration. Yeah, I'll check this in offline, Iqbal. Huh? Other
okay,
than
okay. No,
any
no, no issue.
no issue, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Fine. Okay. Anyway, I note it
Just
down. So for it
yeah,
is a
just.
comment for all material.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. On some one more T code is there. From there, then we can define it. And it is comes under SD module, sales and distribution.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
So fine. So delivery is okay. At least you produce the quantity here. You know, 150 tons.
Mm-hmm.
Good. So that is good. So we go ahead further. So today's topic, we're going to study concepts of MRP. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So what is material requirement plan? Now we got the requirement, that means forecast from the demand, right? This is the manual demand uploading. So
Mm-hmm.
how to feed this to MRP? How MRP will act on this? Huh? That details we discuss. This is kind of it is major, very important in PP production planning. That is MRP, material requirement planning. It's kind of the automation where the guarantee material availability we need to check in the system. System will go into control. Okay. So what is the concept of the MRP? What are the technical processes? What are the prerequisites is required during the MRP run? What is the method to be executing the planning run? So these are all we going to understand. This complete consider. At least we covered today's topic, at least two concept of MRP and technical processes. Okay. So you're seeing my screen. Before that, well, it's visible.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Material requirement planning. So what is the MRP is? So MRP is it is getting the material availability. For example, in a manufacturing background, we have an FG material, FFG material, packing material, or even FHMI, parts material, raw material. So those material is available in the system. As a system in the SAP, the system going to check whether based on the available stock or based on the requirement, based on the forecast, system will going to check and ensure the availability of the stock. Okay, it is used to this can be a procure or produce. Okay, based on the requirement quantities. It will also consider both the internal modes for the in-house productions and even external processes as well. This is controlled by the MRP. It considered the sales order as well. And this monitoring of the stock anyway, uh, this to be do from the MRP. The main requirement before running the MRP, that's material masters to should be created with the MRP views. At least one MRP view should be enabled with the bill of material. Okay. Bill of material is ensured for the dependent requirement. So any FG materials are having the SFGs, those controlled or those requirement is calculated by the during the MRP uh, based on the MR in the BOM, whatever the material is maintained. Based on that only requirement going to calculate. So this is a very basic work center and the work routing to be ensured. So that whatever the cost relevant, the scheduling timing, those are calculated by the MRT one. Even the capacity planning also ensured based on the routing details. So material requirement planning. So there is a demand. Okay, we have to run the MRP, but MRP considers the planned independent requirement. It considers a PIR. Customer independent requirement is nothing but sales order. Secondary requirement is where the BOM component, okay, that is SFGs or raw materials, those requirement we called as secondary requirement. Even some of the stock is available. There may be the stock as we checked here, there is a stock of 150. System considers that as well. There is a stock already 150, but the requirement is came only 100. Then system will not or planning the requirement because there is a stock is available. Okay, if the it considered the requirement is more than the stock, then based on that system calculates and the requirement going to calculate. That is what this stock and some fixed receipt is there, planned order or firmed receipts system during the MRP run or the processes, whatever the MRP we used, there is a fixed MRP receipts are there. System considers those as well, and even some stocks. Uh, So these all are considered, the MRP going to consider and the output of the MRP will be the planned order or purchase requisition. For the in-house component system gives the requirement as a planned order. For externally produced component system produce the PR or purchase requisitions. Actually, this planning run is carried out the plant level. The MRP is based on the plant level or MRP group level. During the MRP, what are all going to take place? Taking you into Excel. So this is what we calculate. What are all the activities? What is the procurement element? So there is a planned order or purchase requisition. So these are considered during the MRP run, and this is the output. And what MRP is doing, for example, how much, what is the quantity, where, when, what is the delivery quantities, what is the delivery date, okay, what are the shortfalls, those system considers and fulfill the requirement based on the available stocks. So before running the MRP, what is actually system does in the background? Okay, that's what this is we called as technical process in the background. Okay, so so during the MRP run, that is you are running the MRP run in MD02 MD02 as a standard MRP run, single item, multi-level MRP run. Once you run the MRP run, what are all uh, processes happening in the background? What system will do? Those we going to understand now. So there are the actually these are the standard steps during the process run. Is the first is the system will check the planning file entries, then net requirement calculation, procurement quantity calculation, scheduling, determine the procurement proposals, secondary requirement. And same once that is the same cycle is repeated here. So these are the 5 to 6 steps is going to take place during the MRP run. So we understand by one what is this. So first we'll take check the planning file. What is this planning file? Planning file entries is system. Uh, See what is happening is we are running the MRP as a business. Usually it will take daily MRP run or weekly MRP run. Okay. Or once we implemented the MRP first time, it is MRP going to take place complete over the plant. So, so for example, we'll take now there is a the requirement of components like there is a FG component is there, some of the SFGs that means dependent component. ROH, VERP, packaging material, some parts material. These are the example. We will take an example. The company having a total of 1 lakhs or 50,000 of material is available. Okay. Once we running the MRP, system will calculates or executes the requirement complete considering all 50 quantities, 50,000 quantities. Okay. So once you run the MRP, the requirement is considered all 50,000, but this is done today, you done. After the second days or tomorrow or day after tomorrow or a weekly MRP run, again you no need to run all 50,000, right? Right. It is why, because it will consume the time, right? It unnecessary time consuming. So what for that what system is doing is there is a concept we called as planning file entry. For example, in another week, if you're running the MRP, instead of 50,000, system come to know that there is only 10,000 component only there is a changes made. Maybe in terms of the strategies, or there is a quantity change, or demand upload change. If that is done, system will consider only 10,000, not completely 50,000. These changes are so unnecessarily. For example, 50,000, there is a planning run, 10,000 only changes made. Then again, the 40,000 no need to do. There is no changes in that materials. Why to run the MRP again for that remaining 40,000? Correct. So for that, the planning file entry helping to understand the material having these changes, or we need to do the uh, MRP run again or not. Those is decision is in the system in the background. These all will take place in the background, and in the planning file entry, there is a indicator is activated if any changes in there in the material. If there is a indicator activated, system during the MRP run, system will check the MD21 planning file entry. If there is a indicator activator, those material only consider and do the further planning. Those changes those changes may be the stock or change in the requirement or MRP data in the material master. If anything changes is done, then those changes is updated in as a indicator in the MD61 T code. Those T code is SAP provided. For that, for analysis purpose, we can check and understand, so that it will reduce the MRP runtime and increase the performance of the MRP. So this is about checking the planning file. Any doubt here in the planning file, Iqbal? Understood?
Just I understand, like there is lots of material,
Yeah,
but there is no change in
correct,
the further process. No change,
correct,
so they
correct.
just not consider and keep the same as for the
As
next run.
no requirement, correct. If any changes made in the material, system will consider those materials only, and output going to produce based on the stock or the requirements. Okay, that's what this planning file is. So this is what the in the background the first system will do, checking the planning file. Okay, this is about this. Then anyway, we will later will check in system and understood all those details. Okay. So then the second thing is net requirement calculation. So net requirement calculation is the system calculates the net requirement for the every material. For this calculation, the system checks whether the requirement are covered by the warehouse stock and dispatched receipts. That means in the SO, sales order related, purchasing or production, the requirement cannot be covered. The system creates the procurement proposal. Net requirement calculation is what system is doing. For example, there is a stock we observed here. There is a stock of 150. The stock available in the system is 150. The requirement comes 200 of production planned order. Then the requirement is 50. So those changes or those calculation we called as net requirement calculation. Okay, this is the requirement element. For example, 500 is the requirement element, and you have a stock of the 100, and the procurement proposal is created 100. So these 100 we called as, this is the system calculated. That is we called as net requirement calculation. Okay, so the MRP is doing, already we understood that is MRP level, MRP area level at plant level. So now we understand what is this requirement elements. That means demand. So there is a requirement, what we required or what business is required. Those we uploaded in the PIR, planned independent required. So this is again strategy dependence. So we understood some of the strategies. Make to stock is 10, 11, 40, and make to order is 20 and 52. So this PIR is again strategy dependent. Based on the strategy, the requirement calculates customer requirement. That means customer requirement or the sales order or the schedule lines. Schedule lines comes under material master, sales order SD, and the deliveries. Once we got the stock, then for that FG delivery will take place. So these are the requirement elements: PIR, customer, and the dependent demand of the planned order. Dependent demand, that means BOM, whatever the BOM component is there, those we called as dependent demand or secondary demands. So order reservation from the production process. So what are happening is during the production order creation, if you create the production order based on the material and the plant, on that time system do the reservation for that order, production order. So those again the requirement element, and material reservation from the goods movement request. Any goods movement will take place. So those reservation, stock transfer, STPO, okay, outboard, or any safety stock we are maintaining the material master. So these all are called are the, these are the requirement. These are the requirement elements. Say MRP will consider. So what is the receipt element based on this requirement element? So there is a receipt. We getting the planned order, right? So once that planned order we getting, we convert it into production order. Firmed planned orders means if any changes we are making or we are partially we converted the planned order, then the remaining planned order is going for the firming. Firming indicator means there is a indicator like a star is going to activate it for that planned order. Those we called as a firming. This is a firming. That means that is firmed. We have to, once the clear or once the planned order is converted into complete production order, then the firming indicator going to remove from the system. Then there is a purchase order. How the purchase order we are getting? Purchase are getting once there is any externally procure, that procurement element or the procurement type of the material is F, then we are getting the purchase order. Then those purchase order we converted into PR to PO. That is we call as a receipt element. What we are understanding is what is the requirement element, what is the receipt element. So next is purchase order. Then firmed purchase requisition. This is again case. Any uh, partially converting PRs, then we are getting firming. And any stock transfer order in one delivery internally, plant to plant. Then stock in MD04, any stock is there. So those we called as a receipt element. And even the inspection lot as well. So you are creating the production order. If you want to do the in process inspection, that is 04 is the uh, production. During the production time, This we called as PROCS process. Okay, during the process inspection, if production is going on, that time you are doing the inspection. That is, and this is after production GRM. Once production is done, we are getting the stock. We need to understand what is if any defect is there in that FG material or not. That we going to we understand by activating the inspection type 04. So this is majorly, and one more is 01 is there. 01 is for raw material inspection or incoming raw material inspection. If these all are what? These all are only receipt elements actually. After we convert only we are getting, but this is again the integration of the PPI and QM quality model. So this is net requirement calculator, calculating the procurement quantity. So these all are we going to understand. This is that what the system calculate the procurement quantity. Lot sizing procedure is there of any scrap or rounding value. Rounding values are maintaining in the MRP one view based on the lot size maintained. Okay, so this is where the MRP going to consider during the once we run the MRP. Then there is a scheduling is there. Scheduling is nothing but this is the start and the end date of the or finish date of the procurement proposals. That is production orders. Those calculated by the scheduling time and determine the procurement proposals. This is nothing but based on the procurement type we maintained in the material master. There is a procurement type. This is we already we discussed. For example, procurement type is E. System, this is for the in-house. Here, so there is a E means this is for the in-house production. US in-house means we are producing. During the business is producing the component in-house based on the enough setups. Okay, work setups. Those all are there in-house only. Then for that material, the procurement type is maintained as a E in MRP2 view. So if that is the procurement type E for the in-house component, so the we are getting after running the MRP, we getting the planned order, and those we converted into production order for the in-house. If if this is for external, externally procured component, some of the component we procured from the vendor. So those material we maintained as a F, externally procured material, and we are getting the again we get the planned order. It may planned order. Okay, this is again this is setting we will understood during again in the next MRP details. Or directly we getting the PR, then PR we going to convert it into PO, purchase order. And there is a case of the both actually. There may be the setup we can do it in-house as well as the externally manufacturing components also there. Okay. So again we are getting here this is again if there is a planned order is there, this planned order may be converted into production order or same planned order is converted into purchase order also. So this is option. Both option is there for X. That means both procured. If nothing is there, there is a blank actually. So these are known as the procurement element. So that is what here. Anyway, we understood that one also. This is a procurement proposals. Bomb explosion determine dependent requirement assemblies. Okay, any bomb component is there. There are the any bomb dependent material also there. That is system going to getting those details. So there is a FG material. When the sales order is there, planning planned independent requirement is maintained in getting the planned order. So dependent material, if there is any assemblies is there, these known as a dependent requirement. Any FG component having the SFGs and child material, those nothing but dependent requirement. This is this is PIR. This is planned independent requirement, and here this is we called as dependent requirement. There may be the planned order, and this is for raw material. That's why you get it as a purchase requisitions PR. So we'll understand one cycle. We'll run and understand how the system is behaves. So we'll create one material, and those FG having one SFGs, and these SFGs having material inside, even this FG having work. So anyway, whatever this requirement we'll find out. Ensuring the procurement type E for the FT. If any FG material is there, the procurement type we maintained as E, and halb material in MRP2 is in the material master. Halb means FERT is the material type for the FG material. Halb is the material type for the SFG materials. Okay, enter the procurement type. F for the VERP. VERP is nothing but material type in SAP. It is called as packaging material, and ROH is it is the raw material, and this the procurement type should be maintained as a F. This is the thumb rule actually. So it is an MRP2 view in the material master. So you understand this. So we are maintained one hull material. So this is a SFG material. Inside that there is a ROH and FG material. FG material inside that there is a HALT and two work material we maintain. So for that, if you run in the MRP or if any production order created, we have to ensure the material master to be created. What are those? One is routing to be ensured, and BOM should be available. Routing and BOM for the FGs and SFGs. This is FG and SFG. We ensure the BOM. Sorry, routing. Then we are uploading the demand here, okay, through MD61, manual uploading the demand through MD61. Then we getting the independent requirement. Okay, so this is VSF we taken as because it is strategy 40 is used, and there are the three requirement. Then MRP run, we got the planned order as well. MRP run, that screen is went there. Okay, this is after that, that screen should be. So we getting the for FG we get this. There is initially there is no stock. Then if minus is there means it should be available quantity at the end should be zero, so that this MRP is done. That we can decide like that. If MRP is completed, that procurement proposal to be executed. So yeah, this is actually SFG for requirement. How to calculate? This is 7 also we are getting, but we uploaded for the FG component only, but we are getting the requirement for the SFGs only. This is what the system doing from the background. Even we can see this is a SFGs. Actually, this is SFG that having a dependent requirement of both raw material we entered, and this is a FG requirement. This is a dependent requirement. We are getting the SFG. That means that FG details it is showing in the MD04 screen. Okay. Here we are running for the 7 series. This is SFG component. For this SFG, the parent, the dependent requirement is from this requirement. So even we can check the work detail, planning file entry. And log into the system. We'll run one cycle from this. What we do? So this is FG. This is one FG we create. Okay. Then one of HLB. These two required a routing, and inside there is a component. So I'm creating by referring FG. So this is a finished material. The industries belongs to mechanical. And these are the basic views is required for the material creation of the MG material. And this we are checking for the MRP basics. Okay, MRP basics. So basic data one, this is the client level. Basic data one and two is the client level. So we go for costing variant key there. Okay. Then costing two, valuation category, information only. Let's take, so this is the information. So let's enter the standard price. So standard price. And this organization. For organization. The MRP view will take it as it is. And this is both procurement type I explained. These are all there. No procurement is there. If a blank is there, okay, if there is a blank, no procurement added. X is means both the procurement. F is external, E is in-house. Then that question I will later study. So I'm taking as a strategy 10. We are getting LSF. Then work scheduling is required. This is accounting plan. So we get class again. Got this period. So I'll create one SFG material. Class one. This is the semi finish. So we'll take system will give this external number in. For SFG, I don't want sales data. Costing, those are all fine. Uh, my storage location is SF00. Enter. It's not copied. Sorry. So again, I don't want this. To this, I'm copying from the SF only. Location 1000 to 1000 plant. So this is the SFG material. SFG we called as bulb as bulb material. Go for this casting and RP1 and SF. created. That's number 13. So we fix two raw materials. This is a raw material. So we required purchasing data. Then there is a allow file. So this is RM00 for allocation. I'm extending RM00. Enter. This is first raw material. Enter. Purchasing is okay. So go to MRP. So this is the ND we wrote. I'm checking as a PD. So this is raw material. So procurement we kept as F. Strategy 10. 2. So this valuation class for the raw material and price control is V, moving average price. New material is there means it is easy to understand the requirement elements. So purchasing anyway, default setting is not there. Same I am doing again. Raw material, raw material. This is the second material. First, go to MRP. It is there. F is perfect. And okay. So raw material 2 is created. So we take one work material. Work is nothing but packaging material. That's up in this. Packaging copied from the master account. Okay. Purchasing also required this, but not required CS data. Uh, okay. We can keep it this one under RM store allocation. Enter. This is work one. Okay. easy. So we can go to MRP views. This should be F. Okay. We, so we got one work material. Small speaking material. 21 second material copy. raw material. So this is work 2. Okay. PD is required, F is there. Raw material. Okay. MP2. We got created materials. Now we do raw material. FERT. FERT. So first we take the material. Material is done. The second part of PP is creation of BOM. Creating for this carbon material under plant 1 under usage of production. Today's date, 1 day ahead. Actually. So we have two raw materials. This two raw material. We want one each. Some will get all details. So you can save this. We got created the bomb. So once the SFG is created, we'll go for the FG creation. So this is FG creation 1000. Under FG, we have one SFG and two packaging material. So for proportionate, we'll take another one. So this indicator means this SFG or half material having a again bomb component. We got created bomb as well. Once the bomb is ready, we go for the routing creation for both the component. The T code for the routing creation or the path is CA01 material. Today we're going to create. So the usage is production. I'm going to release this. Enter. Go to operation. I will take the first work center. This is for the FG finish operation I'm doing. So I will take mention the set of things if required labor time as well. So done. We can save this. So routing is created under this group. Note it down. And this is the group. We'll create for SMGs as well. After that SMG, this is SMG. Going to create one zero for operation. Work center. Save this. The system is through this operation paint the operation. The second time I will take one. This is time. One labor time. We out System will throw the next number only, 148. So what is next? So everything is ready. We go and upload the demand. For only FG we are uploading now. So what is manual uploading? Class NMD. One is the PIR upload for FG material only. So the system automatically takes from this date and the planning period is monthly. So hit enter. So for the month of April we required 100, 100, 100. Three requirement we created. Uploading. So this requirement we can see in class in MD04. This is FG. LSF comes. It is due to the strategy we maintained in the MRP2 view. The strategy is 10. So for the month of April required 100, May 100, June 100. Total requirement, independent requirement. This is we called as a independent dependent. For FG we getting independent of minus 300. Same way for the SFGs also we check. Go to MB04 SFGs. Nothing is there because we uploaded the demand for the FGs only. Now we run the MRP. Once the requirement is came, the next step is to run the MRP, material requirement planning. We run requirement. Okay, we have to run the MRP for FG materials only. So copying the MG. The T code for the MRP is MD02. This is the material. And these details anyway we're going to understand further. So I'm running the MRP. Check the input parameter. So there is a planned order of 18. Dependent requirement is 15,300. That message comes. So you can close this. So if you refresh here for the FG, you're going to get the requirement of the FG material. That is, the planned order is going to generate it. Correct? Planned order of 100 and this available is 0. The same way, system calculates the requirement for the SFGs as well. So SFGs of that halb material also calculated from the requirement of this dependent requirement of FG. Same 100 only, 100, 100, 100 minus. So this is what the system doing, the dependent requirement. MRP is calculated, MRP is getting the guaranteed quantities based on the FG requirement up to the downline component. That's what this meaning is. Material requirement planning. So getting this requirement, even we go for the FGs. You can check here order report. So here you can see your FG material. This is the halb SFG. This halb having a two raw material. Okay, and this FG having two work material. So what is the requirement date? What is the receipt element? What is the planned order? These details system you can see it in the single screen. Even from the SFG also we can check these data. Go to order report. This is this SFG having these two raw materials 192. Okay. Like this system is calculate automatically from the background. So from here we can understand concept of the material requirement planning, how the MRP going to take place. So now so till now any doubts? Because
This packaging material,
hmm,
because the FG material is already there, so packaging material is what?
packaging means this for testing only we taken. For example, some cardboard, right? The work, whatever the FG material is there for that during the delivery, we required for the packaging materials, right? That those also
Okay,
you can maintain in the BOM as well.
okay, okay.
That is what. So that we can capture complete, right? Even costing relevant, how much cardboard used, right? So they
Boxes.
boxes, yeah, what are those things. So now we understand here what is this planning file entry. Okay, what I do, so I will show you for the FG component. So I'm opening. So there is a T code MD21 or from the planning, even the MD21. Now you run the MRP. Is any indicator to be activated now? No, right? Because you already MRP is done. There is no changes you made in the components. That means there is nothing the next time MRP will not consider income because the planning file entry, the net requirement change, or planning file entry, NETPL is used during the MRP run. So it is not there. That means during next MRP run, system will not consider because, for example, there is a lakhs of components during the MRP run, then unnecessarily no need to run again for the complete lakhs of the component, right? So only based on the indicator system will consider. For this example, we try to do the changes and understand how system is behaves. No message, right? So, okay. So what I'm doing, I'm going to change the requirement. So I'm going inside. So I added the requirement or we required more material, more component, and made the changes for the FG. So if you did the changes in the planning file entry to be activated now. If you refresh, system is telling this component some changes is made but during the next MRP run. Uh, do MRP will consider this FG component. So this is what net change in the planning and planning file entry. Based on that, the net requirement is what is it? Check planning file. So system will consider those changes. Those changes may be changing in the stock, changing the requirement, or any strategy changes. Any changes made related to the planning or related that component, that indicator going to activate, then during the MRP run, system will consider those materials. This is simple as like this. So
So MRP is run like month wise. So we give the demand for 3 months already,
okay.
and then this MRP is run monthly wise.
Mhm.
So if change made in the fourth month,
Mhm.
then the indicator is
Going to activate, right? It will activate again because there is a new change you made. The requirement you are updating in the next month. Then, if any, there is a duration between the one first month to third month, there is no change. So, no changes, no requirement change. Also, you are not getting any changes in the result. Procurement element same as it is. In the fourth month, there is a change in the requirement or the demand, manual demand you are changing. Then
no,
there is an
in
indicator activated.
in real time, like for the demand, we are putting the demand for
Mhm.
3 months.
Mhm.
So what we are doing monthly MRP run.
No, usually MRP runs this takes place daily or as a basic. Some clients are doing weekly MRP run in the mid of maybe the Wednesday, and they are doing in the actually background MRP.
The automatically will not.
Automatically also we can do it. So those details we can the next class we can understand. Okay. So those detail is there. There is a multiple plant is there. How to do the multiple plants MRP run, and what is the running duration, any available already existing data, so how to remove, any farming indicator is there. So those all are removed based on those all are again business requirement. They are removing that and run the MRP background in the non-business hour, in the midnight or after 2 o'clock.
When
This
we run the MRP, the reducing is going on, right?
if it is running the real time, that may impacts, right? If we are doing the transaction and parallelly, if one component, two component is okay, but multiple components to be do in the non-business hours only or plant level MRP.
Because the process is going on. No? Production order is
Correct, correct. Yes,
creating,
it impacts.
sales order is there.
Correct,
So
correct. True. So companies or business prefers during the midnight only. Even that is doing system only, background job once scheduled. If it is again some T code is there, and the time also we can SM37 I think. So there we can schedule these complete MRP run. Okay. So MDBT is the T code, or some companies doing the Z T codes as well. One T code, one hit, no that complete background of MRP going to take place. Okay. Now we understand how the net requirement work. We'll check this. Anyway, your component having some stock. I'll take this. These all are you understand, I think. I'm going to get your component. That's it. What is your FG material? 49. Right. So what I do, uh, anyway, there is a planned order. So 150 is there. So already 150 available. So I'm running MRP weight. Or I will create 150 is there. 100 material number. run the MRP, those data is going to vanish. And if you run the MRP, system going to calculate for the another 50 only because already 50 is available. That's what this net requirement calculation is. I'm running the MRP again on this material MD02 49 only. Enter. So if you refresh, land order should be 50 only. Correct? For planned order, 50 planned order is generated. Anyway, there's VSF and there is a customer order 150 days. But this is the net requirement. System calculates the available stock, requirement element, how much is there, what minus stock. That is the net requirement calculation. So based on that procurement proposals. So here in our case, 50 procurement proposal is generated. This is the net requirement calculation. Then procurement quantity calculation. If I'm going further for the system. Yeah, this is what we checked. The planning file entries. We understood what is the planning file entry, what it does. So if any changes in the stock or change in the requirement or MRP data, planned order, if any changes is made. So during the in MD21, the planning file entry display, we can check the indicator activated. This is what indicator is. There is no change, no indicator activated. Even the system will not consider those materials. Uh, for example, here initial situation is 0. Okay, after material is 0 and nothing. There is nothing changes made. There is no changes is available here. Now we add the requirement, okay, in MD21, or I'm changing the strategy 40 to 20. That means we are changing the there is a requirement of changing that material, then this indicator going to activate it. Okay, that's what. Any changes pertaining to the material, there is a indicator activated, and there's a background system going to consider those material during the MRP run. And we are running the MRP. Once run the MRP, immediately this going to away from the system. That means we are not getting any tick mark of this planning file entries. Okay. So this is a background running continuously. This continuous process. So where the this is an important role where avoiding the unnecessary MRP run. That means system only not considering those. There is no indicator is activated. Then net requirement calculation where uh, yeah, after the this planning file entry MD21 system does the first as a first step. The second step system doing is a net requirement calculation where uh, yes, it is doing MRP and area level and plant level. Okay, it will check the what is the stock is available and what is your requirement. It minus those requirement and getting the net requirement within the rescheduling horizon. There is a material shortage or there is a safety stock is there, requirement is there. If those is considered and it calculate the net requirement calculation. So these we already covered. Uh, So I think you understand the net requirement. It is calculate the quantity based on the stock availability. Okay. Then prerequisites. Okay. So once you're running the MRP, if a company is decided, business is decided. So you're running the MRP. What are all the prerequisites is required? Prerequisites of the MRP is so activate the MRP at the plant level. OMD. So there is a activation. This is a prerequisites material requirement planning. So if any which plant, there are the multiple plants in the organization in the one single company code. If you don't require in the particular plant as a MRP run, you can uncheck that. Or if required, the mandatory MRP run for that plant, you have to check that material and you have to run the MRP. This is a setting. This is the first prerequisites to be do. Okay. So material requirement planning, activate the MRP, and one more I'm going. MRP view to be extended. Yeah. So if any material you are doing you have to consider the MRP. If there is no MRP views, system will not doing any MRP activity. At least one MRP indicator to be activated. That's what this meaning is. Example, yes, MM0. Oh, yes. So these are the MRP view. If there is no MRP view activated, okay, there is no MRP view, please 149. Let us check this as an MD02. I'm running the MRP run for this. So this allow you check and try how the system behaves. There is a simulation. Continue how to enter and get understand this. Let's check this. So it's already the previous was there. Let us check this. So requirement is there. That's why. But there is no changes yet. But initially, if you are doing for the new component, then system will not consider any MRP activity. Okay, that's what this meaning. MRP view to be extended, at least one view. Then there is a plant parameter. These are the initial one-time activity. Okay. So this is the initial requirement and one-time activity. What is this plant level parameter? We are go and check here. Yeah, this is again one-time activity. Initially, once the implementation is done, then you can create the variant. So you created all the section, individual section, there's completely plant level material variant. There is these are the background programs. So it will consider once this variant is created, then we can run the MRP. These are the initial one-time activity, complete plant level MRP run. Because initially we don't know how many component, what are those changes is there. We have to enter plant level. We need to run. Okay. So anyway, now equal is created. Then we have to select this. You can schedule it also. I told some time those details. I need to run this. schedule ones are scheduled periodically. Why not every month creation or week wise or day wise, hour, minute, every option is available to the system. Weekly, so this again the setting we can do, then we can understand the scheduling if run. If once one time running means you can run this requirement. 1000 anyway already it is there. No need to take. These are the actually process for the initial configuration. Consistency check for the variant. So it is already there description. So we can see this variant. What is the MRP area, which plant. Okay, week wise is required this one. So you can change this consistency check those details. Okay, this is what I initially doing. Then one more setting is required OPPQ where the plant level and create for the initial one-time activity. If they are already available, you can go and enter. It is already available 1012. So these are the main plant parameter settings. What is the number range? Check report MRP controller. If any MRP controller is there, those assignments also there. It is already configured. No need to do anything. Okay. Then special procurement. That means external procurement. Any floats is required. Floats is nothing but dates or buffers. Those maintenance. Any reference plant is there. Bomb routing selection details. Those setting. Okay. So these are the standard setting. No need to do anything. This is one means production. So bomb explosion, parameter of TS, external procurement, rescheduling, planning horizon, available check, and direct procurement, error handling. These are the configuration level one time. These prerequisites required before running the MRP run. That is the meaning here. And we'll go further. Very part. To activate a MRP at the plant level, those we checked prerequisites. To activate MRP, this is T code level or path level. Go to production, material requirement planning, planning file entry, planning files. This we just now we checked. Then this is activation. This is a variant. Uh, okay. So customizing setting material master MRP group. These details anyway need to you understand.
What is the definition of variant?
Right?
Variant. What is variant?
Yeah, variant is this is just the name for naming only. Okay. So if any naming we can call as this is a variant. Plan PLLAN as the variant name for naming purpose only. Okay. So wherever any changes or any text files you are saving under this name only, variants name. Those are multiple names. Okay, clear?
I don't understand.
Variant is nothing but name. Iqbal is the name, right?
Hmm.
Iqbal is Iqbal. Now this is the MRP run for this plant. For this, for under, for example, we have a multiple plants. There is a different varieties, right? So you can give the plant name. This plant is belongs to planning file execution. Next planning file is some MRP area. So those names are saved under these variants. There are multiple variants. I shown you na, here. These are the multiple variants. Uh, just a minute. These are the variants names already saved. Any name saved under different work. Okay. So these are the different what we call purposes. You can see this variant details, and this is from the thousand plant and week wise, whereas other variant name is again weeks only there. So just they are saving multiple. If any changes or any test cases or any scheduling data can be see this is there is a change in the plant. So those we can save under the variant name. You can give the name and save it as per the customer use. So if you call or if you are scheduling, then based on if you select that variant and run that, that is the purpose. Still a doubt?
Like one plant,
Yeah.
there is different customers.
No, no. I will tell you the other way. Uh, there is a one company. Okay, we'll take as a thousand or any global company. We will say Toyota. Toyota is the company. Okay, this head office in Japan, the manufacturing plant in India. Even India, there is a different location. This is a company code. Okay, this is
Mm.
company code. In India, there is a different manufacturing plant in Chennai, Bangalore. Now, so now we are running the MRP for the Chennai plant. Okay, then so if you are running the MRP for the Chennai plant in different scenario, or it is monthly basis, and this you are doing in weekly basis. Then, so for Chennai relevant data, okay, there may be weekly or day or the work scheduling details is different. For running this, you are mentioning as a directly you give the variant as a Chennai only. So if you maintain the Chennai variant, it's the Chennai detail. Inside there are the different variant details. Okay. It here only the field name only MRP area plant, this thing only there. So there is a MRP type also you can mention. So those details are saved under those variants. This is Chennai variant. Another one is Bangalore variant. Then if you run the MRP, we can schedule if you select this and we can schedule based on our requirement. And there is a one more T code MDBT. So we can call this variant and run the MRP run in the background. Or here this is consistent effect. There is a T code. See, this is the MDBT T code where there is different variants is saved under this. There is a plant of 1000, right? This plant 1000, maybe Bangalore, Chennai, different plant. If you check, those variant details is differs. Understood?
Yeah.
This just naming variant is the name. Another variant is comes. There is those big different. During this any test cases in SAP we saved under a variant. You may observe. I'll show you this. Zero variant. You can save variant. Any Z transaction and all, we can save the variants actually. Then we can recall that variant. Okay, if any testing scenario is there, there we can recall those data. If any ZT code is there, there we can save as a variant, as a test case. I think this is testing server. No much ZT code, no ZT codes. And also no columns. maximum 6 only available. Go to edit. This is a variant. See, save variant. Like this, you can save your variants. If you're running any control you require, background running, or based on the field control is there. So those you have to do. If you save this, there is a variant. Here you save the variant. You can get it the same. Getting now.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, this is about the variant details. So okay, it's over. MRP run prerequisites plant level MRP run. Yeah, almost we come. So MRP groups. Okay, this is what one more we can run the MRP plant level and the MRP group level as well. So these groups are based on the requirement, any purchase requisition data or schedule lines or planning horizon. System gives the option to maintain the MRP groups for the same attributes. Okay, so material to be correspond. These MRP groups having again divided into storage location. Yeah, these also standard SAP MRP groups. Maybe MRP group is 1000 is there. So like this, again, this is also prerequisite for the MRP groups MRP run. Okay. So this is again divided into the setting possible on several levels. MRP groups. Wait, this is responsible from the MRP controller. Okay, these are the controller level. Okay, electrical, mechanical, MRP group 1, 2, 3, 4. MRP controller fine. The MRP groups are the plant level and storage location MRP. Okay, so for example, storage location for FG MRP level only. So those all are controlled during this. So MRP area level also we can do the settings. Example, I'm going here. Those details we can save here in MRP one view. This is MRP area. If you activate for external related data, those only this kind of the differentiate. No need to run complete plant level. Just if you define that MRP area, based on that, we can run particular that area only. That's what this meaning. So this is a MRP area. If any profile is required, that also let us try to add this. Enter MRP type. It's asking. So what is the MRP group? So we'll take make to start. MRP type is PD. MRP group not maintained in the material master level. MRP group is not there for this setting. So let us take the 0 just for testing. This again information. You observe these are the mandatory ones. Lot size also. So like this, the MRP controller, if required MRP relevant data can be controlled based on the MRP area level, based on the storage location also. The setting is there in MRP one way. Okay, MRP controller. So this is regarding your prerequisites, those details, those settings. So this is about MRP basics, concept of MRP, technical processes of MRP, and the prerequisites of the MRP. Okay. So in the next class we'll understand other things. Just a theory part only. Okay.
Okay.
Almost. So I tried to check that FG issues you are facing for
Hmm.
LG related errors. Okay. So again, you do that practice all those related data. If you are come across any issues, please revert us. Okay.
Okay.
Anything you need to ask?
No, thank you.
Fine, right? Yeah. That's all from this today's class.
Okay.
Irfan is
Thank you.
there? Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you. Irfan?
Hello.
Yeah, Irfan. That's all
Yeah.
today's class. Fine.
Thank you so much for today's session also.
Yeah.
And I was a little bit of the session for the last 20 minutes. I could not able to attend, but
Mm.
I just released all in last week. So, any question, Mr. Iqbal?
No, no, thank you.
Oh, don't.
So
Take it.
tomorrow we will have the same time on
7
the
minutes.
same time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Thank you so much,
thank
Mr.
you very
Sheikh
much.
Iqbal.
Okay, okay. Good night, Mr.
Bye.
Shiva.
Thanks. Take care.